Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Eth-ne. Today's flow is going to be kind of a very gentle morning flow to get your body awake, to get your niggles and wiggles kind of moving out. So we're going to start in a child's pose today, please. And actually for your child's pose, depending on kind of what you want from this posture, if you're having a little bit of stiffness in the morning in your lower back, I would bring the knees slightly closer together. If you would like to take this stretch into your hips and lower back, you're going to take your feet wider. Knees wider. Feet stay together, please. Reaching the hands forwards. Melt your forehead down to the ground. Soften into the elbows, so there's no need to keep reaching the fingers. Just allow your arms to relax here. Eyes gently closing. And just settle into the floor. Just sending some attention into, first of all, the layer of the skin. How's your skin feeling today? Which is obviously a little bit of a weird question. But do you feel warm? Do you feel a little bit cool in the fingers and toes? Perhaps you're feeling a little bit stiff, a little bit achy and tired today. And that's completely fine. Not trying to change anything just yet, or even changing anything anyway. Just accepting what's already there and opening that space. As we're just calming the breath, calming the body, feeling yourself sinking that little bit deeper through the shins and the feet. If you do need to have a little movement at any point, don't feel restricted here. Just calmly taking that breath a little bit deeper down into the belly, into the sides of the waist. And starting in our child's pose is just this way to let stress release from your body all the way down to the ground. So almost imagining anything that you've woken up with today, anything that you're carrying around with you, just imagine that space slowly drifting down through the mat or down to your towel or anything else you're practicing on today. Just visualizing that space going a little bit deeper down to the floor or the earth if you're outside. Just floating away from your body. So we're starting in this neutral space. Almost as if every inhale we're softening and opening up to opportunity of change, of release. Take 3 more breaths. On your 4th inhale, peel your way into a tabletop position, and there is really no rush here. You might even keep your eyes just closed, finding your way, shoulders above the wrists, hips on top of the knees. I'm going to just take some small little circular motions or movements to the wrists, spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing down the knuckles of each finger, and moving so slowly, so mindfully into this space. There is absolutely no rush, and kind of when we're starting to take a little bit of movement in the morning, we just want to be really kind, because depending on how many hours sleep you got last night, 6, 7, 8 hours, just gently starting to arrive into your space. And slowly send these circles round the other way. Increasing the circumference now as we take a little bit more weight forwards, backwards into the knees. But travelling a lot slower than perhaps you intend to. I think when we wake up we have this inherent need to go, rush, and you can slow down the pace. And just bring this softness back in. Come to find stillness, turn the fingertips out towards the long edge of your mat. Maybe you pause here. Or we're going to curl the fingertips round to face the knees, drawing the eye of the elbow forwards. If your hands are out to the side, you're going to rock your shoulders from side to side. drawing the wrists a little bit closer together with each rock. Or if your fingers are facing back towards your knees, keeping the muscular sensation through the arms, so we're not collapsing into the joints. You're having kind of an activity here through the arms, tucking the toes, shifting the weight forwards and backwards. Oh, I'm going to sneeze again, I know it. Easy does it. Perhaps lifting up the wrists might feel good, but there's absolutely no rush here. Taking 2 more breaths. And slowly come to release. Fingertips back round towards the top of the mat, please. Coming through our cat-cows. As you inhale, drop the belly, draw the chest, elevate the chin just slightly, not so much so that we're going to bring tension into the throat or the back of the neck, but just having that slight little lift. Exhale, curling belly button to spine. See if we can start this motion from the lower back, rounding up to the rib cage, shoulder blades, and eventually the chin rolling down to chest. Inhale, belly drops, sending the tailbone backwards, rippling that sensation through the whole of the spine, chin lifting last. And exhale to press and curl away. You can close down your eyes here to really feel into every single vertebrae in the back of the spine. Inhale, we rise the chest. Exhale to curl and release. One more time. Inhale to open. And exhale to curl under. Finding the sit bones back to the heels. Stretch the arms out long. Come back into your child's pose, please, my lovelies. But this time you're going to take a little bit more of an active child's pose. So see if you can reach your fingers a little bit further away. Really sinking the tailbone down to your heels. Take a breath. Walk both hands over towards the right hand side, please. Left hand on top. And keeping your head just relaxing down to the ground as we open up into this left side of the rib cage first. Remember, when you need to, feel free to have a little wiggle around or a bit of movement. Take one more breath. Hands walking over towards that left side this time, right hand on top. Forehead releasing to the floor. And depending on how your body's feeling this morning, you might feel this more into the hips or the knees, maybe into the side of the waist, or I feel it slightly pulling into my lower back. One more breath. Next inhale guides you into the center. Let's come back into tabletop, please. Puppy pose, heart melting. Keeping your hip bones stacked on top of the knees, you're going to walk your hands forwards, bringing your forehead down to the mat. If this feels a little bit too intense onto the top shoulders, take your brick or a prop underneath your forehead, and that's going to give you a little bit of support. Perhaps you take your arms a little bit wider. Or if you're feeling fairly open and mobile, bring your chin forwards onto the mat. This is our heart-melting puppy pose. Using that visualization like we did at the start of our practice to release the chest down to the floor, and it may never touch the ground, and that's fine. Allow the body to get rid of any unnecessary tension. Close down the eyes. Unclench the jaw. Eyebrows unfurrow. Breathe. 2 more breaths here, please. Lifting up the forehead or your chin. Calmly finding your way back into tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift your knees, send your tailbone up and back, downward facing dog. And let's just start to initiate some small movements into the ankles, into the knees, pedaling out your feet. Having a little roll around of the hip bones as well, so not staying too static with this movement. Almost as if your bottom half of the body is doing a salsa dance as your top half is supporting you. So allow the hips to wiggle and open. Softening into the lower back. Just have a little play here, see what happens, see where you can move into. Taking these movements a little bit bigger with each breath. Eventually finding stillness in our down dog. And this morning I'd like you to take your feet as wide as your mat. So it's a wide stance down dog. I was going to say down dog. Hands reach a little bit further away as we're sending our chest back. Relaxing the forehead. You might, let's take the hands a little bit wider. My hands are slipping on my mat. So I'm going to take my hands to the outside edge of my mat now. And then see if I can grip on. Yeah, that's better. Pressing the chest backwards. And releasing into the upper half of the body. If this is too intense on your legs, soften the knees, really expanding into the front of the chest. One more inhale. And your exhale, bring the hands, bring the feet back into the neutral down dog. Rising up high to your tiptoes, keeping your legs as straight as possible for as long as possible as we walk all the way to the top of the mat. But when you need to, lower down the heels, bend the knees, ragdoll. Opposite hand takes opposite elbow. Treat yourself to a little sway from side to side here. And it might feel good to have the arms dangling, or maybe interlacing your fingers, drawing the hands up and over the neck. Elbows, arms relaxing. And not needing to tug on your head, but just allowing the weight of your arms to increase the depth of this stretch. One more inhale. And exhale wherever we are. Fingertips soften down to the floor. Bend your knees, chin to chest. Slowly roll all the way up to standing. As if you're a zombie, just let the arms go. On peeling the back of the spine. Stand nice and tall. Oh, my sinuses just get like a big rush of energy then. We're going to turn sideways onto the mat. So for me, I'm going to step my left foot back, but depending on how you're watching this, you might step your right foot back. Taking the feet quite wide, turning the toes so that they're neutral, they're facing just the side of the room. Hands coming to your hips. Squeeze the shoulders together, squeeze the elbows together. Take a slight lift and lengthen. Gaze high to the ceiling as we squeeze the bum and press the hip bones forwards. And exhale to release into your Paschimottanasana. Prasarita Padottanasana. There we go. Our wide forward folding stretch. Hands staying onto your hips here. Give the hip bones a little wiggle from side to side. And as always, if this feels too intense, drop the fingertips or your hands down to the floor. Take a breath. Lift and lengthen halfway. Flatten out the spine and exhale to fold. Really making sure that the kneecaps are elevated here. So we've got the support of the lower half of the body as well as stretching actively into the back of the legs. Inhale to lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. One more time, lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. Everybody releasing the hands down to the ground. You may need to take your feet a little bit wider to find that space. Right hand flat underneath your face, or you can take this hand onto a brick. Sweep the left arm high as we broaden and open up the chest to now the back of the mat. This might feel enough. If you want a little bit more for your shoulders, you're going to bind your left arm behind your body. Back of the hand onto the back of your right bum cheek, or slide your fingers a little bit further to the inside seam of that back right leg. Using the hand as a way to open up the shoulder, the left shoulder a little bit further. Steady breath, take one more inhale. And exhale, release, unbind, left hand finds the ground, replace with the right hand. Right arm sweeping high as we open up the chest. And again, you could stay here, reaching this right fingertips high, or we're going to rotate the hand, placing the back of that right hand onto your left bum cheek, or slide the hand a little bit further to the inner seam of the thigh and hip as we rotate through the upper chest. Steady breath, conscious opening, and releasing of tension. One more inhale. And exhale, both hands find the ground now, please. Shuffle your feet in a little bit closer. We're going to bend the knees and bring yourself all the way back down to the mat. So turning sideways, finding our froggy pose. Now, my lovelies, if you have any sensitivity in your knees, maybe you have a towel or something you can pad them out with. And if you don't have something like that, you're going to take your mat and double it over. So we're going to just pad out our knees here. So find your way into a tabletop. Take your knees nice and wide, toes turning outwards, and you definitely want the ankles lining up with your knees. So it's almost a 90-degree angle here with the legs. Just double checking that your hip bones are in line with the knees pointing out to the side. And maybe if you have a little bit of tightness in the hips, you're going to stay up to your hands. If you're ready for more, come down onto the forearms. Or if you're ready for more, make a little pillow for your forehead or for your chin and rest all the way down. And just allow yourself to soften into the space that you're holding. Not worrying if you don't feel as open, perhaps in the inner seam with the legs as you have done on previous days. As the practice of yoga is just coming into this present moment of how does my body feel in this moment, not comparing to how it felt yesterday or the day before or last week. How are you feeling today in this time? Take 3 more breaths here, please. Slowly starting to find our way back onto our hands if you're not there already. I would bring your feet a little bit closer first and then really mindfully bring the knees gently back together, and you can take as much time as with this as possible because, our knees are very sensitive and so are our hips. Take the mat back out and find your way into a child's pose. Bum to heels, pillow for the forehead, and let's cross the hands the opposite way this time. And just allow the hips to release. The jaw to unclench. And just to see what's happening in the body right now, what can you notice the sensations of when we release a posture? What's going on? So for me, it feels like there's kind of like hot fluid rolling around the hips, not in a bad way, just in a warm way. One more breath here, please, my lovelies. And slowly start to find your way into a Sphinx pose. So we'll slide the forearms forwards, fingertips facing the top of the mat, and then gently start to extend the legs backwards as you land all the way down onto your belly. So we've kind of worked through the opening of the shoulders, of the lower body and hips, the back of the legs, and now we'll just come into a little bit of a wake up for the spine. If this feels too much with your elbows underneath your shoulders, you're going to move your hands further forwards to decrease the kind of back bend. If you're feeling okay, keep the elbows underneath the shoulders, squeezing the shoulder blades, almost imagining your heart lifting high and up here. And again, no tension through the neck or through the throat. Keep your neck nice and neutral in this space. Closing down the eyes, and then just see what is happening. So it feels like my glutes are super switched on and clenched, so I'm just going to relax my legs. Feel a little bit of tension in the left shoulder. Just give my left shoulder a little wiggle and then reset into that space. Take one more breath. Gently blink open the eyes, slowly releasing all the way down onto your chest, please. Make a little pillow for your forehead.
Have a little wiggle from the hips from side to side.
Inhale to slide your hands back just to almost the height of your nipples, thumbs in line with your nipples. Squeeze the shoulders in. Actively press the tops of the feet down, squeeze the glutes. Press the floor away with your hands and coming more into our high cobra pose now. So again, depending on the flexibility of your body, you might be a little bit lower. Maybe we're higher today. Releasing the shoulder blades, your shoulders away from your ears. And just holding for a couple of breaths. Feeling a slight compression in the lower back, which is fine, just as long as it's not sharp shooting pains. Exhale, release back down. Make a little pillow for your forehead, opposite hands.
And have a little wiggle. Now feel free to stay with option 1, your Sphinx pose. Option 2, your cobra pose. Now if you're taking it a little bit further with me,
we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders once again, hands to the height of the nipples. Actually, let's bring the hands a little bit further forwards. Again, feet hip width, tops of the feet pressing down, squeeze the glutes to support your lower back. Start to press the floor away as you lift the chest. This time, seeing if we can take our arms straight. Now, if this feels too intense or your shoulders are up towards your ears, walk your hands a little bit further forwards as we start to broaden and open through the back body. If this is feeling okay, you can start to walk the hands further backwards. But just be really mindful of the breath. If we stop breathing at any point, it means normally that we've taken our bodies a little bit too far. So just watch where you're going. It's kind of a very lazy upward facing dog or an overactive seal pose in your yin. One more breath. And calmly find your way out. Slowly does it. Unripple. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Make that little pillow.
Have a rock. This time let's bend the knees and windscreen wiper your feet from side to side, and you can point or you can flex them, whatever feels better for your body. Maybe a floint, half point, half flex. Take one more breath. Beautiful work, my loves. Extend the legs.
Roll over to your back. Hug your knees in for our reverse child's pose. Cupping the back of the legs and give that lower back a massage. Taking your arms wide like in a T shape, or if you're a bit limited on room, we're going to bend the elbows and find a cactus shape. Drop both knees down towards the right hand side. Keep pressing your left back shoulder down, and if your knees separate, that's completely fine. Just anchoring this back shoulder down. Let the legs do the thing that they need to do with gravity. If you're taking it further, you might even cross that left leg over the right. Or if you can't, that's definitely too far for me. If you can't feel too much going on, even hugging your knees in towards your chest might feel a little bit, more sensation. Again, not forcing or pressing or needing to find something super strong. I think we always build up that we need to really feel something to know that it's working. And no, just simply placing your body in this shape and allowing yourself to relax is also doing something. Take one more breath. Calmly roll onto your back, uncrossing the legs if they were there, and gently switching sides so we're letting both knees drop down towards the left. Have a little moment to settle because one side is going to be perhaps completely different to the other. Right shoulder anchoring you down. And if you took it that one step further, right leg crossing over the top of the left. Remember, there's absolutely no need to take it further if it doesn't feel right in your body today. My lower back is feeling sensitive. I'm not going to cross the legs. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Not having these attachments to the physical body. Just kind of acknowledging and accepting what shows up for you. Finding contentment for the practice in what is. Rolling onto your back. Let's extend the legs. And today, interlace or grab a hold of opposite hand, opposite elbow above your head for your Shavasana, for your relaxation. Allow the feet to naturally fall out, lower back to soften. So with the invitation of this lift of your arms, allowing the front of the body to be exposed, and it's almost the most vulnerable part of your body because it's where all of our vital organs live. So we often cross our arms over our belly or our chest when we're feeling a little bit insecure. So just by releasing, by opening up this space at the start of the day, we're allowing ourselves to be open to opportunities that may arise. I'll let you know when we're coming out of this space. Take as much time as you need to start to come back to your space. Coming back to the temperature of your skin, the texture of your clothes, the sensation and the feelings of the floor below. And as your breath starts to travel around the body, wiggling fingers and toes, perhaps a soft sway of your head from side to side. Stretching your arms, stretching your feet, your legs in whichever direction feels good this morning. As you feel ready, hugging your knees in, calmly rolling over to one side or rocking yourself lightly up to a comfortable seat. Inhaling to roll your shoulders up, back and down, away from the ears. One more just the same, keeping the eyelids closed. Sitting up nice and tall, really broad and open through the chest. Finding acceptance and openness to whatever shows up in our day to day. Place the left hand onto the heart center, right hand on top. Have an incredible day, lovely yogis. Jai. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, whatever day it is you are watching this video. My name is Eth-ne. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, whichever side it is, to keep up to date with all the latest classes. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much, everyone.